These are one of the most fertile plains in the world. These plains are called Indo-Gangetic plains, which starts from Pakistan, from Indus River, and it goes to Dhaka in Bangladesh till the river of Brahmaputra. So we call it Indo-Gangetic plains. So these plains are the breadbasket of South Asia, not only South Asia, but these are the wheat and rice producing areas, major areas in the world. That's why India is the largest rice exporting country in the world, and they produce best quality of basmati rice in India, and this is the belt where best quality of basmati rice is grown. But the side effect was that farmer, because these are very fertile land, so farmer used to clear land by burning the stubble and stem of the paddy to clear the land and to sow the seed for wheat, because farmers, they usually grow 3 crops in a year. So 3 crops are growing here. These are rich fertile land. But what we have come here to check, that is there any reality now that these areas are becoming a big pollution center, hub of the pollution center, and with wind movement towards southwest, the pollution, air pollution, reaches Delhi, and with smoke it becomes toxic for Delhi citizen. So many of the tourists, many of the corporate guys, they avoid coming to India in this season to Delhi, not India, but basically to Delhi, because of air pollution. But reality is quite different here sometimes, and that is the real work of the journalism, that we should go and we should report from the ground. Nowadays journalism has become, we call it newsroom journalism. Newsroom journalism is you sit in the newsroom, you Google everything, don't go to the field and write a story quickly. But at times these stories are far from the truth, far from the reality, ground reality. When we came here, we found there is no parali burning in these areas. Farmers stopped burning stem and stubble of paddy few years back. In fact, they found the solution. They found new machines. Nowadays, when they cut the parali, cut the stem of paddy, they send it for packaging material. They sell it, in fact, they earn out of it. And there are super seeders machines, which I'm just showing you. They till the field, plow the field, they level the field, and they sow the seed in one go. There is no need of clearing the stubble from the ground. You can see, look, this wheat is sown after the paddy crop. You can clearly see the stubble. There is no need to burn the paddy stubble or stem. They can in one go sow the seeds. So that is the ground reality. And I must say, in Delhi, the blame, I would say that's a blame which Delhi citizens are putting on farmers, and there is a whole lot of resentment among the farmers that why urban citizens do not take care of their own problems, their local problems, and they blame on farmers. There is a big divide in India between rural and urban areas. There are problems which are specific to rural areas, and urban areas, the urban class, they do not understand because they have never lived in villages. They have no connection with the agriculture practices, and India still, major part of Indian GDP comes from agriculture produce, and or around 60%, between 60 and 65% population still live in villages, which is hub of the economic activities. Urban areas, they have their unique problems because India is growing very fast. It's becoming one of the biggest economy in the world, already 5th biggest economy in the world. but there is a urban rural divide in India, and that divide is that gap is widening. Political class has to understand these problems, has to narrow the gap. I think urban people have to understand problems of agriculture areas, rural areas, of farmers, and they randomly should not start blaming for each and everything to the farmers, and farmers shouldn't blame urban areas or the urban citizen for some of the problems. Delhi has its own problems. These are man-made problems. These are problems related to geography, its location, its climate. Let's first talk about man-made problems. Delhi is a metropolitan of I would say 20 million, with 20 million population. 20 million is a big population number. It's one of the oldest city in South Asia. In Delhi, you have 5 million number of cars in the city. 5 millions, which is more than 5 times the total population of Fiji. So 5 million cars, how much pollution they will generate? Most of them are not Euro 6 standard. They are still Euro 4. And there are very limited number of electric vehicles. So that is man-made problem. Delhi is surrounded by industrial zones, industrial areas all around. Delhi is growing very fast with India. It's growing very fast. Economic activities are massively going on all around Delhi. New highways are being built. New factories are being set up. New residential complex are being built. So you can see a lot of construction activities all around Delhi. And because it's not the terrain is not hilly, terrain is these lies in the alluvial soil belt of North India. So there is a lot of dust. If you are constructing a new highway, new building, new offices, new complex, you will be producing a lot of dust. So that dust that stays in the air because there is no wind movement. So I'll talk about geographical and climate factors which contribute to Delhi's pollution. Basically, Delhi is a landlocked city. Sea is almost if you go by road, it's almost 1,500 kilometers from Delhi. So there is no wind movement. There is Himalayas in the north, and there is no rain during the winter season. So October, November, December, there is no wind movement. Temperature goes down to almost 2 degrees, 3 degrees centigrade. Cloud formation close to the surface. We call it fog or mist. So during fog gets mixed up with exhaust of the vehicle, and it stays there in the environment because there is no wind movement. It does not get scattered. So that is a big contributor to Delhi's air pollution, not the smoke from the stubble burning from nearby rice producing areas. Now slowly people in Delhi and around, they are knowing the fact that smoke from the fields is not the major contributor, and now they are going after the government to take measures like Beijing. China somehow controlled, otherwise Beijing was also one of the most polluted capital in the world. So now Delhi citizens are also after the government to take measures. Now they are not allowing any dust in the city, no construction activities during these 3 months when there is no rains, no wind. In Delhi you can have only a vehicle, diesel vehicle, only for 10 years. After that it cannot be registered in Delhi. You have to scrap the car after 10 years. Petrol car can be scrapped after 15 years. So no old car, no old vehicle. More strict day by day. So that is how they are controlling air pollution in the capital city of India. But you must have heard Parali burning or the stubble burning. That must be making international news. So that fact is not correct. That is the only and the biggest contributor for air pollution in Delhi. I'm here in the Indo-Gangetic plains of Haryana, Punjab in India, which were blamed to be hub or center of air pollution for Delhi, which is not true, not only far from truth, but there is no truth in it. We must report from the ground, we must tell the truth with hard facts, we must do research. I have written in Indian papers, in Indian dailies, I have written about it in some international newspapers that these facts are not correct. Urban areas has its own problem and these has to be sorted out within these areas. Few years back there was whole lot of fight between Indonesia and Malaysia. Same blame they used to put on Indonesia, that they burn the paddy stem and stubble, and the smoke comes to towards northwards. It travels northwards with air movement towards Malaysia and Singapore. And for a day or two, few years back, Changi airport has to be closed down because of that smoke. Visibility was less than a kilometer and flights could not take off. So the whole fight was going on between Malaysia and Indonesia, or Indonesia and Singapore. But ultimately Indonesia, which is also one of the largest rice producing country in the world, they also found these solutions. They are using paddy stubble and stem for packaging and other purposes, and now there is hardly any stubble burning left in Indonesia also. In India also this is happening, and it's happening, in fact it's happening on ground. So this is for sake of your knowledge. Namaste, goodbye from India. Thank you.